Thank you.
Please start us out with a brief opening statement, and we'll go ahead and go straight to questions for you.
Sure. Two completely different weeks between last week's conference call and this one. I thought that we took steps and strides in the right direction defensively in our home game against Maryland and our road game against Nebraska. I thought our defense is what stood out, and was hoping that we could obviously start to turn the corner there at that end. And then I took a step back defensively this past week in the game at Northwestern and in the home game yesterday against Indiana. I thought our defense was atrocious and has to get better. This past week offensively, I thought we made a lot of strides, maybe as good as we played offensively in 2 back-to-back Big Ten games in the 3-year window that we've been here. So that part was encouraging. I also thought individual players have really started to grasp things and improve, and we're starting to see guys play their role at higher levels. I thought that was very encouraging as well. But again, and I've said this over and over, in this league, if you're going to try to outscore people every night through the 18 games, you're greatly mistaken. You have to play defense at a certain level in this league if you're going to have any type of consistency. And obviously in the last 2 games, we failed to do that and did not get the job done on that end of the floor. Fortunately for us, it was a split for the week, and now we head into this week and have obviously Purdue on Wednesday night here at home and Minnesota on the road Saturday. Questions?
Thanks, Coach. Let's go straight to questions, please, Darla.
If you would like to ask a question during this time, simply press star, then number 1 on your telephone keypad.
Coach, you talk a little bit about the importance of having a team effort and the temporary loss of, Rayvonte Rice in your lineup, but talk a little bit more about the significance of Kendrick Nunn in that effort.
Well, Kendrick's played his role well. I think he has actually defended better in addition to the offensive production that people see on the stat sheet. So he's really coming on. He's one of those players I mentioned earlier with my initial comments there that I think is really improving. I'm excited about that for him. He basically had no off season with the injury and coming back from the knee, and I think he's starting to hit his stride a little bit, and obviously that's a good thing for us.
Your next question comes from the line of Marcus Jackson, Champaign News-Gazette.
Morning, John.
Good morning.
When you talk about the defense struggling, is it a mindset on the part of the players? Is it a scheme thing? Is it something that you can put your finger on to kind of figure that out?
Well, the first thing and foremost is we got to play harder defensively. It's got to be more important to guys individually and to our team collectively. As are more important than making shots. And that's the first thing. And then the second thing, we got to make fewer mistakes. Our execution of transition defense yesterday, our execution of pick and roll defense in Wednesday night's Northwestern game late just wasn't good enough. We've got to execute those things better, but it really starts with the right mindset, and it starts with more effort and working harder on that end.
Thank you.
Your next question comes from the line of Nathan Baird with Lafayette Journal and Courier.
Good morning, John. I just wanted to touch base with you on that and where you feel like he is compared to a year ago and how that fits into the matchup with a team like Purdue that's going to put 2 7-footers on the floor.
Well, I think he's improved. Obviously he's coming off of, he didn't play very well yesterday. But, he's improved for sure. He's gained weight. He's gotten stronger. He's even more vocal. He's done a great job with his leadership. He's accountable defensively. He really impacts the game on that end. He's improved around the basket. With post moves and different things that he and Coach Ford have worked on. He's been a work in progress with that over the 3 years. So he's improved in a lot of different areas.
Thanks.
Your next question comes from the line of Rob McCullough with the Illinois Report.
John, does it make it harder to learn defense if the guys have to
learn how to do a 2-3 zone as well as a pack line? Is that for
It's a great question, Rob, because I think at some point, less is more probably at some point. There's different ways to play defense. For example, Indiana, who we played yesterday, plays several different defenses. We play a handful. Obviously primarily man, and we've sprinkled in some zone. I do think whenever you rob Peter, you have to pay Paul. I mean, that's probably the best way I can answer that. Do I think that we can be good at both? I do, but I think sometimes it takes more time when you're working several different defenses. If you want to master one, it's probably easier than trying to master 2 or 3 or 4. I know I'm stating the obvious here. Probably true in terms of the law of learning, regardless of whether it's basketball or life or business as well. But at the end of the day, I think we played both of them effectively. I would like to see some more consistency with both of them.
And how, specifically with LeBron and maybe being on the floor at the same time as Malcolm, how does that affect his progression?
I don't think it necessarily does. Yesterday, obviously, Indiana was small. At times they played Troy Williams at the 5, so they're playing 5 guards, which is unique. And so we played that lineup a little bit yesterday. But, regardless of who he plays with, whether it's with Malcolm or with Mana or with Mav or, I really like his growth and development. He's getting better. He made a few mistakes yesterday, but he's making less of them per minute played. And his progression right now reminds me a little bit of Nunn and Hill's progression last year, about midstream of conference play, where they started to really get it. And you can see him starting the light bulb going off on several different things, whether it's offensively or defensively or scouting or terminology. It's starting to click a little bit for him. And when that happens, and I knew when it would happen, that he'd be able to impact our team, because he's very, very talented. It was only a matter of time.
Coach, we appreciate your time this morning. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.